It's on my big stepper, underground methods, top-notch hoes, get the move.
Hey YouTube, this is Philip. I'm here today to discuss different topics. And my day topic I want to talk about is, are there jobs out there for people to work? And reading them asking this question because they saying that our jobs have dropped by 40%. And no, Americans are not able to work by 40%. That's just not right. And I'm a firm believer that if you're not working, you don't want a job. Because if you make a plan, if you truly make a plan to find a job, I'm a firm believer you can get a job. And a lot of people use an excuse, well, there's no jobs, or I can't find a job. Well, first of all, you can't sit at home all day watching TV, playing video games, on the phone, expect to find a job. You know, there's a lot of jobs out there, and a lot of people thinking McDonald's is beneath them, or Burger King is beneath them, or fast food restaurant is beneath them. Sometimes you got to find a job that fits you just for that moment, just to make ends meet. You know, everybody's not gonna get that corporate job. Everybody gonna claim that letter just like that. You have to start somewhere, and I'm a firm believer, if there's a will, there's a way. In other words, if you have a will to work, you can find a job. And they were saying that our jobs has plummeted. But I don't understand how the jobs has plummeted. You just got to be willing to go out there. See, when finding the job, you got to sell your seat. A lot of people thinking, well, I'm going to get a job, I'm going to work. No, sometimes you have to sell yourself. Going on a job interview is not so much the people hiring you for a position, or people hiring you for a slot. You got to sell yourself. The same way you go to a store and you buy a product because that store is selling a product. Well, you're a product within yourself. And being a product within yourself, you got to sell yourself. You got to sell yourself at that company. What can you do for that company? What can you do for the position that you're trying to get to make it better? In other words, I'm saying, can you make that position better than what it is? Or can you make a company better than what it is before you get there? Because you got to sell yourself, people. And a lot of people, there's no job. There's no job. But yeah, there's jobs. There's a lot of jobs out there. It may not be the job that you want. It may not be the job that you're expecting. It may not be your dream job. But there are jobs out there. There are jobs out there. You just got to be willing. You just got to be willing to go and get them. You got to be willing to look for them, you know. And meanwhile, saying yourself, when you go into a job interview, how do you dress? How do you look? Is your teeth clean? Is your clothes nice? You know, you just can't wake up out of bed and say, I'm going to look for a job. You got to present yourself presentable. But now I'm going to work right now because I love what I do. You know, I do construction. Eventually, I'm going to start flipping houses, but I love what I do, you know. So that's why I look like this right here, because it's cold outside. But what I'm saying, before I got this job, I had to sell myself, because construction is not booming like it once was, you know. And so you have to make yourself sellable. You have to make yourself presentable. You have to make yourself to want somebody to hire you. And how do you do it? The clothes you wear, your attitude. Do you have a smile on your face? Are you being polite? Are you saying yes sir and no sir? See, you went out by saying yourself, you have to play the role. Yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir, thank you sir. I'm happy to work for this company. Or you seem like a lovely company to work for. Do research on that company, you know. Sometimes you got to do research. What product do they sell? What the product do? You know, Google whatever the company you're trying to work for, or whatever job you're trying to get. Google that job. And once you Google that job, look at the products they sell. Look at their most expensive product. Look at the product that's selling the most. Learn that product. And then when you go on that interview, you can talk about that product. You can say, well, I see that you sell A, B, C, and D, and it's a lovely product that you sell, and I like to be a part of it. So just filling out an application, That's not enough. So now you got to go above and beyond, you know. But there's jobs out there, you know. And not saying nothing bad, but a lot of people want to sit home on welfare and food stamps, hoping that that'll make the bill or child support. Well, I'm not saying you shouldn't use welfare. I'm not saying you shouldn't use food stamps. I'm not saying you shouldn't use child support. But what I'm saying is, in order to better yourself, in order to get out of that slump, in order to achieve and receive more than you have to sell yourself. And selling yourself is not hard, people. It's really easy to sell yourself. Put a smile on your face, number one. Be polite, number two. Shake your fellows. Give a firm handshake. When you go meet that person, don't be wimpy with it, but give a strong, firm handshake. Number four, women, be nice, dress well, don't be provocative, don't underdress, and don't overdress. Just be modest. Because a lot of people are not looking for cleavage. A lot of people are looking for brains. A lot of employers are looking for skills. So don't underdress, just be modest. Because there's jobs out there, you know. Now, are you going to get the job that you want the first day? Probably not. But the plan is taking the first step to find a job. And once you find the job that can bring money, that can bring in meat, then you work that job. Then you go take your time, settle down, and truly look for the job that you really want. But like I said, you got to put effort into it. You got to make a goals for, like, what's your goals? One, this is by this time next year, this is what I want to be. By this time next year, this is the job I want to have. By this time next year, this is the position I want. See, set goals for yourself, you know. Set goals for yourself. Because you can set short-term goals for yourself, and you can set long-term goals for yourself. But the point I'm trying to make, set some kind of goals for yourself. And I promise you, by setting goals for yourself, no matter what it is you're trying to do in life, whatever you're trying to do, become, if you set goals for yourself and you reach them goals, and then you start setting more goals for yourself, and you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised how happy you'll be. You'll be surprised how well accomplished you say, hey, you know, I did this, so now I can do this A, B, C, and D, whatever it may be, you know. But like I said, you know, you're not going to start out as a corporate job. But I would say this one thing, though. The job that you do get, if you treat that job at McDonald's or Burger King or whatever lower level entry job you take, if you treat that job like it's a corporate job, you treat that job like that's the job that you really want, I promise you, when it's time for you to move up the elevator, when it's time for you to get the job that you want, I promise you, you probably the first candidate that employer will hire. Why? Because you have put yourself in a position to grow. You put yourself in a position to learn the company. You put yourself in a position to understand the product that company's selling. Number four, you put yourself in a position to understand the ins and outs of the company itself, you know. And by understanding the company that you're trying to work for, and understand the company that you're trying to get employment with, by understanding that company, that will give you an advantage over those who just put an application in, who just looking for a job. See, you're not just looking for a job, you look for a career. You look for something that's longevity. You look for something that's going to say, hey, I love this position. I love the opportunity that I've been given. So since I love this opportunity that I've been given, I'm going to put my all into this. And that's the goal. Finding something that you love doing and putting your all into it. But like I said, there's nothing wrong with taking baby steps. Starting out small. And you treat that position as if that's the job or position or the employer you already want to work for. And I promise you, you will go a long way once you receive the job. And as you climb that ladder, you'll eventually get to where you're trying to get to. Once again, my topic, are there jobs out there? Are people just being lazy and don't want to work? Or are they really out to look for jobs? That's a question you got to ask yourself. I'm out.
It's on my big stepper, underground methods, top notch hoes, get the move.